Coming off yet another broadcast destined for the Paley Center Radio Hall of Fame, George Dare.
Where do you see the wedding present?
Wait till you see the pile of poop I'm giving you at your wedding. Let's have a show, shall we?
Kennedy. Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who'll bring the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. And it's Kennedy, 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 for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you cast your vote for Kennedy and a change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Oh, yes. Well, hello. Welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, for now, North American continent, Western Hemisphere, on this planet Earth, the only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is TKE tonight, the Kennedy Effect tonight, I should say. TKE, the Kennedy Effect tonight, for the 13th of August, 2024. I will openly and freely admit, still trying to share our program out to the places that we try to share it to, and so far so good. I think what I've tried to do with the sharing bit is do all of my Democratic groups and the associated, they're not all that actually, in on one night, and then all of the internet radio groups on another, because of course I will get blocked if I try to do too much in any one given night. So we have to do this carefully, unfortunately, because of course, heaven forbid. But hey, first world problems could be worse. We're just happy to be here with you as always. We couldn't do it without you. It means everything that you're here, and we just couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it without you. And thank you all for being here. Let's get to it. We have shared. You got to watch some of the boringness, didn't you? Let me get to my own Facebook. We shared the program to 93 places tonight without getting stopped. So perhaps there's some good vibes going on, shall we? Perhaps there's some good vibes in it. That we are also live on my Facebook page, Jeff Kennedy. My name's right there on the screen. We are live on our home group Facebook page for all things that surround the Kennedy effect. Of course, it's called That Other Side of Information. And we are live on our Twitch, Jeff R. Kennedy. We are live on our LinkedIn, Jeff Kennedy, and we are live, of course. I think the best place really to catch the program live and, of course, on a recording is our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information, youtube.com/That Other Side of Information. And hey, wow, let me turn the fan on because I'm melting. I am melting. All right, not the most professional thing, but I had to turn a fan on in here. And of course, if you're listening to the audio of the program coming to you through the Voscast website, VOSCAST, on gcpr.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. If you Google any of those things, or DuckDuckGo, use your search engine of choice, you might even be able to Bing it. Is Bing still a thing? Does Bing still exist? Kinda. Nobody uses it, but it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
So, search engine of your choice. Plug in my name. Plug in George's name. Plug in gcpr.live. Plug in Ghost Claw Productions Radio. You will find us. That ding that you just heard is work. I am on call for work, and I have done nothing but work since I got home. And it looks as though I'm going to have to go back to work. So I will stay with you for a few minutes, and then I'm done, because I now have to work. What else is new? I have done nothing but work since I got home. I don't even... know what to say anymore. The same technology that allows us to be with you here is the same technology that forces me to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So on the one hand, what a wonderful thing. On the other hand, what a curse. What an absolute curse. I see no way actually that I can continue the program unless George can carry for a couple of minutes until I can try to. I'm going to have to get the laptop from downstairs. I have to call this customer back. God, I love life. I'll tell you. What a wonderful, wonderful life. It's not even funny. Donna, I do get paid, but I would rather not. I'd rather leave work and be done with work. I have done nothing but work. Yes, these days are now 17-hour days. From the time I wake up in the morning until I'm done visiting with you each weeknight. These are now 17-hour days. And this old body is running out of steam. I'm tired. I don't sleep. I'm in constant pain. We'll have some surgery coming up here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We have a wedding that we're putting on. I'm tired. And I would just like to tell these people that are buzzing me now at all hours of the night and day. Now, it's once every 5 weeks. I'm on for an entire week. But, Jesus, people, stop effing working for 5 minutes. Leave me alone. What I do for a living is not blood, body parts. It's not UNICEF. We're not feeding starving children. We're not donating blood. We're not shipping body parts around the country. We're not saving lives. Log off for 5 effing minutes. I have to call this person back or I will get fired. So I will ask George to hang in with you for a few minutes. I will return as quickly as possible. And since today is Tuesday, I don't think there's anyone on after us, if I'm remembering correctly, in which case we can just pick up and keep it going. I'm going to ask
no problem.
George to hang in there with you. I have to go work. I will return as quickly as possible. So let me... I'm
not a politician, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. So actually, I know how to fix this. So this should not be that long. I'm going to mute myself and try and take care of this. I will be right here. I think I can fix this pretty quick.
Okay.
So hang in there. You are in the most capable hands. I will return as quickly as possible.
Hopefully the show won't go down in flames.
Yeah. No, it'll get better. It'll get better. It'll get better. Mike is asking, can George take calls? No.
No, I can't.
George does not have the access to the Google Voice that I do. Even though it still rings through my mobile, it's not the same number. He doesn't have that number built into his phone. Just hang in there. Put your comments, questions in the chat. George will be with you for the next few minutes. I might stay even on screen because I think I can fix this pretty quick. Just give me a couple minutes. I am
No problem. That's why, we get the big bucks here. So, no, I'm sorry, Mike. I can't take calls. I'm usually just the guy who looks up stuff, for Jeff. So I'm kind of like the silent partner. So, does anybody have any questions? Problems? Any computer problems, since nobody was on the help desk today, so let's see what we got here. Can we zoom into you, George? Let me see if I'm no, on the Streamlabs, no, you can't zoom into us. Sorry about that. I wish we could. We use Streamlabs. So Streamlabs, we have not figured out yet how the Zoom and the Streamlabs work. We will get to that eventually because we know that the phone works with Zoom. I have lots of computer questions, but I can't ask them right now. You can ask them right now. Jeff is off here for a little bit. You can ask a computer question if you want. I could possibly answer that for you if you want to. So just ask your question. Anybody? Bueller? Okay. All right. What's your question, Donna? Go ahead. Oh, there's Randall. Hi, Randall. University. Yep. Okay. I can't put these questions front and center. I'm sorry. I don't have that. I don't have that capability. Only Jeff does. I have to actually get over to Jeff's on Saturday and update his computer. So. If we could do that, we can give Jeff the night off. I don't think Jeff gets a night off. So, well, I think on Friday Jeff gets a night off. That's about it. But okay. 6 years old. All right. So, my computer is probably 6 years old. Rarely used. Now it's telling me I have bad drivers. What's up with that? So bad drivers could be if you're using a Windows computer, you could use something called Windows Update. So there is something on Windows called Windows Update. If you go to the Start button and go to the Run prompt, or go to Run and put in Windows Update, you would actually have to update the drivers. And Windows Update is basically to update the security patches for Windows. So, what do you think of the Trump X debacle? What did I think of the Trump X debacle? I try not to look at Trump at all. I mean, all I see is orange. I see orange Hitler. I'm sorry, but so to answer Donna's question, yeah, I believe that would be Windows Update for your drivers. That also includes drivers that drive certain peripherals on the computer, like your keyboard, your mouse, an integrated mouse pad, keyboard, your graphics, certain things of the thing. So, oh, you're welcome. The Trump X debacle. I really haven't read too much into that. I'm really not a political person. I try to keep up, with everything, but Elon Musk is a brilliant man, but his ideology, I think, is misguided, shall I say. Oh, here comes Jeff. But Elon is about one thing. He's about money. So, and Mike said, if you run Ubuntu, it updates stuff daily, as if you like. Yep, it does. Okay, we are back. So I answered some computer questions that I couldn't do on the help desk. That was awesome.
Why isn't anybody calling you on the help desk, folks?
Nobody knows where we are, probably.
Wait, let me drop that in here. The show's pretty much shot now anyway. We might as well relax a little bit, huh? Let me put my usual comments here in the chat. I have some saved. Very strange that Streamlab actually lets you save some comments. Among those comments is the one popping in now, which is the help desk is on today. It was on today. They just ended 20-ish minutes ago, but that's okay. That's all right. Besides, Ubuntu is the program that you use when you want to build your computer out of vibranium and base your server in Wakanda. Anyone? You're welcome. I did notice, though, in the chat Donna says, I don't get let me do this. I don't get notifications for the help desk, George. Sounds to me like you're being blamed there, sir.
Yeah, I'm being blamed.
Let me just say, again, I did put it in the chat. The help desk is a show that is co-hosted by George and Gilbert. They are both proper. We're not talking about gaming nerds living in mom's basement until, ketchup stains and all that. We're talking about genuine, real, like guys that can build computers from nothing, like MacGyver-ish type computer folks.
I have mustard stains sometimes.
Well, but I was trying to. But you called yourself out. I was trying to.
I'm on the first floor now.
Yeah, you're on the first. Yeah, right.
I graduated. I'm in the den now.
Yeah, that's true. But
I'm not in the basement anymore.
These are George and Gilbert both are genuine, like proper computer professionals. They can build networks, programming, you name it. And they have a show right on before hours called The Help Desk every Tuesday from 6 p.m. Eastern Time to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, GCPR.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio, the Ghost Claw YouTube, and all the various social media. Go to the website, GCPR.live. You can find out everything that you need to know about the Help Desk and all of the rest of the shows that are on. I shouldn't say it like the rest of it, like it's somehow being left behind, but all of the hosts and shows that are on GCPR.live. Go to the website, GCPR.live. You'll find everything you need to know about all of the programs on our station. And we are a whopping 6 weeks old. And so, listen.
Yeah, so nobody's really going to know.
We
do have a Facebook page, though.
We do have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel. There's some social media out there. As I said before, I was called to work again. If you plug GCPR or Ghost Claw Productions Radio or my name or George's name, Sergeant Mac, Villain's View, any of the names that you might be familiar with going back years now, you will find GCPR, you'll find the website, you'll find everything you need to know about our station. So please do that. We are live right now. We're just a shy of 100 different places across Facebook. We are live on our YouTube channel. We are live. Actually, went to the wrong place. We are live on my Twitch. We are live on LinkedIn as well. We were able to share the program to 94. Well, I did 93. Somebody else did a share for me, which is awesome. We always ask you to do everything that any particular social media, like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever it is for the various different things. I actually remembered to do a TikTok tonight, which is really saying something, because my goodness, do I forget to do that on a very regular basis. I finally remembered to talk to my TikTok followers tonight. So hopefully they will find us and join us as well. Let me get to... So I had what I normally do with the program, as most of you are aware. I will pick out a story or two or three, and that's kind of the big story of the day, and that's kind of what we talk about. But I did something today on Facebook, and I would tell you that those who would declare the death of Facebook are way, 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 way too premature. About half the planet, just a hair under half the planet, are members of Facebook. Twitter, X, whatever we want to call it, has about 1.5, I think, billion users. I guess members, users. I'm not sure what the proper term is, but yeah. So those who are constantly talking about the death of Facebook, you are way, way ahead of yourselves. It's not going anywhere. Does it skew to a bit of an older demographic? Yes, because it's an older social media platform. It's been around longer. People are more used to it. Although I think MySpace was probably the really first big social media platform. Would you say that's right? You think I have that right? MySpace was probably the first biggie.
Yeah.
Social media, and then Facebook followed. Not too long after, if I'm not mistaken. One of the great business failures of all time is when Rupert Murdoch paid $1 billion for MySpace and collapsed it within 6 months. What a wonderful investment! Good for you, you bastard. That said, those who are predicting the death or declaring the death of Facebook are way too premature. So I did something today on Facebook. Please go, if you have not gone there recently, or you have not gone there in a while, go to our Facebook page, our home group Facebook page, which is That Other Side of Information. And I put a post out this morning that said, 12 hours ago, right? What is it, 8:30? Yeah, this morning. That just simply said, and I did this in reaction to the fact that Elon Musk has openly endorsed Trump. And as early as recent as I think 2 weeks ago, Trump came out publicly and said that Musk had committed to him, promised him, and his campaign, Trump's campaign, $45 million a month through the end of the election cycle. Now remember, Citizens United made all of this legal. Musk, if he wanted to, could give the Make America Great Again PAC. It's a super PAC. It's completely unregulated, and they don't have to report where the money comes from. If Musk really felt like it, he could give the Make America Great Again PAC $1 billion a day if he felt like it. For whatever reason, he's settled on this very odd sort of figure of $45 million a month. Immediately, the X platform, formerly known as, I think everybody still knows it as Twitter, began losing advertisers and losing members. Musk is actually suing one of the advertisers for pulling their ads off of Twitter. And it made me think, I skipped a step. Also yesterday, and we never got to this on the program last night, Musk conducted a 2+ hour long, quote unquote, interview with Trump. The fact that it was completely besieged by technical problems is not just ironic, quite honestly, it's funny. Because this engineer, this man who wants to put people on Mars and who is now the largest private contractor that handles work for NASA, man who has built a spider's web of communication satellites, which can also be used as spy satellites, by the way, around the globe, Starlink. There are now so many Starlink satellites that NASA is actually having problems navigating around them. So he buys Twitter, he puts Trump on Twitter. They did a 2-hour, whatever you want to call it. Musk called it an interview, but it really, I don't know that it really was that. It was various streams of unconsciousness, as we are sadly all too used to from the ex-president. They've become all too normalized and all too normal. Well, they're not normal, God knows, but they've become normalized. And it was during that Musk has openly endorsed Trump. And I think most of the articles about it have come off of the front page. Or I would read you more about what actually took place. But here's an article from the Associated Press from today, written by Barbara Ortutay. And I probably butchered that too. Some of the names, I can't even get close. Ortutay. And this is a follow-up, really, on this so-called interview that happened yesterday. And I will try during the course of the program, especially if we have a phone call or if George takes over or something, I'll try to dig through the AP app and see if I can find the article that kind of, I guess you would say, summarizes the rantings of the ex-president from yesterday. But the follow-up from this so-called event came today. Headline: How ex-owner Elon Musk uses his social platform to amplify his right-wing views. Again, by Barbara Ortutay. And again, I might be butchering her name, and if by some miracle she is listening, apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name as always. The Associated Press from today. And again, folks, you should be using the Associated Press app. It's free, exceptionally easy to use. And they're not paying me anything to say it. They probably don't even want my endorsement. They probably don't know who I am. They wouldn't know me if I was standing in front of them. But that said, as ex-owner and most followed user, Elon Musk has increasingly used the social media platform as a megaphone to amplify his political views and, lately, those of right-wing figures he's aligned with. There are a few modern parallels to his antics, but then again, there are a few modern parallels to Elon Musk himself. But of course, none of this should come as a surprise. Back in 2022, when he was trying to buy Twitter, Musk said he was doing so because it wasn't living up to its potential as a, quote, platform for free speech, unquote. Protecting free speech, not money, was his motivation because, as he put it, quote, having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization, unquote. Musk is one of the richest people. He is one of the 3 richest people in the country. He is one of the 10 or 20 richest people on the planet. And because he didn't have enough money, several years ago, he moved from California to Texas because they have no state income tax. Now, a billionaire, a mega multi-billionaire, someone who is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, who is concerned with state income tax, that the several $million, because most of what Musk takes in compensation is stock. Therefore, he doesn't pay, I don't think he even pays state income tax on that. It's capital gains tax, which is federal. He had to move from California to Texas to save himself that extra few bucks with no state income tax. It should not surprise us that a mega monster multi-billionaire is a right-winger. Because as I have said on this program for years now, the billionaire class has made a conscious decision that democracy is no longer convenient. It no longer runs parallel It is no longer a partner in their constant craving, obsession with hoarding more and more and more and more wealth. I happen to forget what the statistic is. Gosh. That if Musk spent $1 million a day, it would take him, I think it's 43 years or something to spend it all. If he never made another dime and then spent $1 million a day, I think it's like 37 years or 43 years or some ridiculous number until all the money was gone. Most middle-class people don't make $1 million in their lifetime, let alone be worth $250 billion. If you ranked all of the domestic gross national products of all the individualized different nations on Earth, not conglomerated, but the global GDP of the planet is roughly 65 to 70 trillion dollars. The poorest country on Earth, Haiti, has a gross national product, I think, of only about $2 or $3 billion. Musk is worth 250 billion plus. His net worth is more than about each of the bottom third nation's gross domestic products. That's a very convoluted way of describing it. So if you took all the nations on Earth, from the highest gross domestic product all the way to the bottom, and then you take the bottom third, his net worth is more than the gross domestic product of the nations in that bottom third. Not combined, but individualized. But he had to move to Texas to save a couple million more in income tax. $1 billion falls out of his pocket the same way we wash a penny in our pockets. Donna just made a really excellent point. I got to put this, it's taking me off course here, but I got to just think of how many homeless people he could help if he wasn't so selfish. Musk, before Twitter, went to the United Nations and said, what would it cost to cure hunger on this planet? To eradicate hunger. Now, the question alone has to come from some decent place. Oh, shit. George, wow. I'll put that up next. George did the math for me, and it's ridiculous. I wasn't even close. Holy hell, I was not even in the ballpark. So he went to the United Nations. He went to UNICEF. How much money would it cost to eradicate hunger on this planet? The cost was surprisingly inexpensive. It was anywhere from $8 to $12 billion. Because Musk had told the UN, I'll just give it to you. But he decided that was a little too expensive. Because when you're worth $250 billion, if you give $10 billion away, by God, you're only worth $240 billion. How will you feed yourself? And he never did give them the money. George corrected my very, very poor memory. According to the calculation through the official method, although the methodology is not given, if Mr. Musk were to spend $1 million a day, it would take 673 years to exhaust his wealth. Folks, there is nothing remotely Christian about that. Which tells you that the right-wing corporate Christianity, for-profit Christianity that's going on is not about any such thing. My point in all of this is, and I'll if I can do it without going completely silent, which I would do, because I'm not really good at walking and chewing gum all the time. I would try to find the article from yesterday, which actually encapsulates what happened on Twitter. I'm not sure if I will be able to find it. Oh, I did find it. Oh, wow, I did find it. So I will get to that. What are you looking for? Right here. The boss, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to suck her in. How bad do you want your phone? I'm teasing. I'm live around the globe. It's okay. We can have a laugh. No problem. That said, let me get to this article, because I was lucky enough to find it, and I actually found it pretty quick. And I am getting somewhere with this, I promise you. I promise you. And I thought this discussion might be a different, a little departure from just the top stories of the day. Now, this is from yesterday. This article is from yesterday. It is still the Associated Press. Headline, Dateline New York. Headline, Trump and Musk talk about assassination attempt and deportations during glitchy chat on X. The article is authored by Steve Peoples and Meg Kennard of the Associated Press. Donald Trump recounted his assassination attempt in vivid detail and promised the largest deportation in United States history during a high-profile return to the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, a conversation that was plagued by technical glitches, which is absolutely bloody hilarious. That this engineer and man of technology can't keep his own platform running. The one he paid $44 billion for. The man with, is it 13 children, 15 children with 11 different women? Something like that? George can Google that one for me quick as well. Kristen told me that one. I didn't even have any idea. He does a very good job of keeping his private life private. I will say that. Who says money can't buy happiness, huh? Or at least for certain body parts. Quote, if I had not turned my head, I would not be talking to you right now. As much as I like you, unquote, Trump told X's owner, Elon Musk. Musk, a former Trump critic, said the Republican nominee's toughness, as demonstrated by his reaction to last month's shooting, was critical for national security. The rare public conversation between Trump and Musk, which spanned more than 2 hours Monday night, was overwhelmingly friendly, revealed little new about Trump's plans for a second term because he doesn't have them himself. His plans are Project 2025. They have been written for him by the billionaire class and 140 plus former Trump administration officials. His name's in it 312 times, an average of every 3 pages. Project 47, which is Trump's version of Project 2025, and some, it's the same words in a different order and a different cover to the book. He didn't write any of it because he's not smart enough, and quite frankly, he doesn't care. He just wants money and power and to keep his ass out of jail. He's running for those 3 reasons: money, power, and to stay out of prison. Trump himself has no plans for a second term. Those plans have been written for him by the people he has surrounded himself with, by the people that the billionaires have paid to surround him with. It did not begin as planned, with more than 878,000 users connected to the meeting more than 40 minutes after the scheduled start time. The interview had not yet begun. Many users received a message reading, "Details not available." Trump's team posted that the interview on X is being overwhelmed with listeners logging in. Once the meeting began, Musk apologized for the late start and blamed a, quote, massive attack that overwhelmed the company's system. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have planned it. Oh, by the way, you're a tech company. By the way, without any announced change in the structure of membership plans or membership requirements, or I'm groping for the right word, to the X platform, I've noticed that about 2 weeks into our program, we suddenly got blocked from it. We now need a premium subscription to go live. Anybody else out there who happens to be on Twitter, did you receive a notification that if you want to go live, you need a premium subscription? I sure didn't. So if you're just walking down the street and you see a car crash, a building on fire, you see a parade, you see somebody standing on the corner giving out flowers, and you decide that you want to go live on Twitter, I guess you need a premium subscription for that? Or do just the liberals need it? So this brings me all to the post that I put on Facebook today. Again, you can find this on our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information. One of these days, we'll get the graphic resized, and I'll actually be able to put it up on the screen so you can find it. Or I will finally get that monitor working, and I'll put the damn graphic up on there, and you can stare at it through the whole program. That led me to put this on Facebook this morning, which generated 18 comments. Is it time to leave X, to boycott it and its sponsors? Or do you stay and use the tool against them? I asked for your thoughts and you provided them. And I'm asking you now, this audience. We talked yesterday about how the American consumer as a whole has been very responsible, not solely responsible, but very responsible for ending the inflation spike that we saw post-pandemic, because you, the American people, the American consumer, refused to pay the extortion-like prices for items. You have looked for less expensive alternatives. You stopped buying some things. And that we, as a national consumer, have had, the Fed has calculated this as well as the Treasury Department, we've had an actual effect on inflation. We've stopped it because we won't pay the extortion. It led us to a conversation about boycotting things and how you can vote. You don't just vote on election day. You can vote every single day. You can vote with your principles every single day. I don't go to Chick-fil-A because they hate gay people, period. It's the same reason I don't go to Hobby Lobby. I do not buy gas from Exxon since Exxon ruined the bay in Alaska. I don't get gas at BP, the way they ruined the Gulf of Mexico. We can make these choices. There's a bakery right in our own town that had a big impeach Governor Tom Wolf sign during the pandemic. We don't go there anymore either. Any restaurant that has TVs constantly going, diners usually do now. If it's only Fox News, we don't go anymore. You can make these decisions every single day. They're votes. It's like voting. So I ask you, and a good number of folks did comment on the post, and I hope they continue to do so. Actually, I should pin it to the top, which I just did. So when it comes to a platform, a social media platform like Twitter, X, or Facebook, or YouTube, or Snapchat, or I don't know, fill in the blank, and you know that the owner of it is openly right-wing, he openly hates 99% of the people in this country because we're not billionaires. We are cannon fodder. We are labor. We are an expense to him. At the same time, we're also his consumers, and he needs us. So do you leave the platform as a form of protest, as a boycott, or do you stay and push your message against him from inside? And we got a variety of answers to the, actually, to be honest with you, there really wasn't much of a variety. Pretty much everybody said leave. Phone line is open. I think it's open. Let me check the Google Voice. I think we're open. I'm pretty sure we are. We are. I did turn the Do Not Disturb off. Isn't that fun of me? Right there. 267-227-9189. 267-227-9189. The phone line is open. We'd like to hear what you have to do. Jesus, that didn't take long. Holy bloody Nora. Crikey. Jesus, that scared the crap out of me. I didn't even get to say the... George's going to fall out of the chair. I didn't even get to say the number. Anyway, caller, go. First name, where are you calling from? Go for it. I do have the speaker on, don't I? Hang on. Sorry, hold on. My mistake. Go ahead. Sorry. First name, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Southwest.
Oh, it's you. I didn't know it was you. Sorry. I didn't know it was you. Sorry about that. It's been a very disjointed night. I've been working all night and I hate it. So it's been a very disjointed show. It's been a very disjointed night. Anyway, go on, my friend. Have at it. Have at it.
Jeff, the 10 years I was University Fire Marshal at Westchester State University here in Pennsylvania, and when I started, I had a full-time assistant fire marshal, and I had 20 hours a week electrician, because I had to maintain all the fire alarm systems, sprinkler systems, building inspections, monthly check all the hand portable fire extinguishers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they cut, this was under Ridge, they cut one by one, first the electrician, because of budget cuts, to the university, and they made a decision where they're going to make the cuts, and then my full-time assistant fire marshal, and it was all left on me. And I was on call 24/7, 365 days a year. You think you have it bad? I left. I just walked off the job one day. I was working 16 hours on one job at 8 hours at work and 8 hours at home, and trying to get in time to raise my 3 daughters, spend time with my wife, cut the grass, etc. And I just walked off, man, or I would have had a nervous breakdown. And didn't have a job lined up. I left it to the Lord. And, yeah, he took care of me. But I can really empathize with what you have to go through, even though it's only once every 6 weeks.
And look, there's a lot, the old saying, could be a lot worse, and it could be. I could have no job at all, and then I'd be really screwed. So, could be much worse, but boy, like I said, the same technology is allowing you and I to talk right now, and is allowing this face for radio to be literally around the globe at a fingertip, is the same one that has made the American worker a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week worker. There's never downtime. You're never unplugged. And there was a court case in France not too many years ago, might be as early as like 5-ish years ago, where the labor unions sued because any worker that had been issued a company mobile device were receiving phone calls and emails after hours and were expected as a condition of their employment to answer them. And so the labor union sued and said, wait, we're off of work. The business isn't open. We're not working. So what do we, and of course the corporations fought back and said, no, they're employees. We gave them a device to be connected and to be available. They have to be available. And the French courts ruled that it is illegal in France to require workers to be on call at all hours of the day and night. Now, of course, there are exceptions, medical personnel, law enforcement, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, if you're working at one of the many nuclear power plants across France. But you get my point. If you're an office worker who is an advertising agent, let's say, who does graphic design for campaigns to sell whatever, blue jeans, bread, TVs across France, and the company gives you a phone, you are not required by French law to answer it when you are off hours. And I just think among the degradation of the American workforce from the all-out war that has been declared on unions, a war that the unions have only in recent years, and under the Biden administration, by the way, begun to fight back against and actually regain some ground. The fact that wages are stagnant, generally speaking, they are up during the Biden administration, but if they had continued on the course that they were on before Reagan, we'd be in $30, $40, and $50 an hour ranges right now. Not to mention if the minimum wage had kept up with worker productivity or CEO pay, that's a whole different topic even.
Which we may want to call for, Jeff.
Yeah.
UAW is suing Musk.
Yes, they are.
Because during that 2-hour debauchery that him and Trump were talking, they both made comments that broke labor relation laws in this country. And I could not be prouder of the UAW, United Auto Workers, standing up for their workers, standing up for all union employees, and standing up for non-union employees. To tell this big multi-billionaire, you can't do this in America.
Depends on who owns America. It's that's
the problem. Oligarchy.
It's a default.
The corporate oligarchy that the billionaires own and control.
Right. It's a default position of capitalism.
It's not capitalism. Capitalism is having multiple companies in the same business, whether it's foods or whether it's automobiles or whatever.
But that same system,
prices down. But when Wall Street and the hedge funds have consolidated to, like, there's only, essentially 4 to 7 companies in meat. There's only 3 companies in cereals. And the list is endlessly going, down.
There's only six major. There's only six banks control. I think it's about 83% of the deposits in the country. There's only six major airlines left. There, as Randall says, there's only three major food processors. There's only six major fossil fuel companies in the country. There are, even though we may have hundreds of channels, they are owned by about 4 to 5 different entities. So even media is consolidated, massively consolidated. There used to be, again, I would turn to France. The average French citizen pays about $60 a year for phone, television, and internet, because there's over 100 companies to choose from. And French law dictates that whoever built the infrastructure, the cabling, the wireless site-to-site, the satellite, whoever built the actual infrastructure must allow the competition to use it. And there are well over 100 companies that offer cable television, our equivalent of cable television. And oh, by the way, they're already well past 1080p or 14. We're just getting into 4K here in this country. Europe's well past that already. Because as one of my friends, as George will know, as Matt always told us, Europeans aren't stupid. They don't keep buying the same technology over and over again. They want to cut straight to the end of the story. and buy the, but us Americans, we keep getting sold the same thing over and over again. But they have well over 100 companies that offer phone, cable, and internet. And the average French citizen pays about $60 a year for all three. I'm at 230, 250 something just for internet, because I have only 3 companies in the entirety of the Lehigh Valley that offer it. So what's the impetus for any of those companies to lower prices? None. Because I can only cycle through them once before I'm right back where I started. And some of the companies will even penalize you for leaving them and coming back. But anyway, that said, go ahead and keep. What else you got?
I'll get on cable, for example. When cable really hit suburban, urban markets across this country, cable originally was a rural town that was out of airwaves from distance. And they would put up one big tower to get stations in that rural town. And then they put it out on their local cable station so people would have television. Anyway, when cable started in the mid-'70s, for example, here in Delaware County, my township then, there was competition. We had 2 cable companies. They constantly competed on keeping their price down, and people were jumping back, and I did that all through the 70s into the 80s. And now, cable companies, when you throw in Comcast, number 1, and Verizon, number 2, those 2 companies right there are over 60% of the cable market in this country, because they own Cox. They own, this. And, it's just monopoly. When the last it was started during President Carter's administration by the U.S. Justice Department, and that was to break up AT&T for monopoly. And it was finally brought to court, and AT&T was broken up during Reagan's first year as president, and there was AT&T was slashed to create 6 mini bells. And over the decades, for example, Pennsylvania, AT&T, they bought Southern Bell, and then they bought another Bell. There's only 2 telephone companies now in this country. It's just bonkers.
Yep.
What has happened throughout my lifetime going back, starting with January 20th, 1980, when Reagan got in, and the deregulation and the ultra tax cuts have continued through every Republican president, but too many times things have continued through what
we haven't stopped it either.
Presidents
we haven't stopped it. We haven't stopped it, and we should have, and we haven't stopped it. And the only one who's even really talked about it is President Biden. Remember, he said right during a State of the Union address that the days of trickle down has to end. This myth, this lie that we were all sold, has to end. And he's right. But let me ask, before I let you go, let me ask you the question. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Do you stay and fight from within, or do you leave it as like a boycott move? What would you do? Or what's your opinion?
I would leave it as a boycott move.
Okay. I can certainly see that point of view. I can see both. That's the problem. I can see both. I have to admit, I don't use it much. I really don't use it much. I use it mostly for show promotion, and I don't even have many followers. Certainly, if I left it, nobody would miss me. I guarantee you. I could say that for everything. If I don't wake up in the morning, nobody's going to be all that broken up about it. But I just think it's an interesting question, because I think you can make a case either way, that you stay and you fight from within, because there are, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, hundreds of millions of left-leaning Democratic voters, liberals. Let's not forget in other countries, the Labour Party in the UK and the Social Democrats all throughout Europe, and that are also on the service. So, do you stay and fight from within, or do you boycott? Because when you got 1.5 billion users or subscribers or whatever they call them on Twitter, you'd have to lose you'd probably have to get into 100 million, would be 9 figures before you start to notice. Now, it's probably less than that. I'm sure somebody at the Twitter corporate headquarters, if they suddenly lost even 500,000 people, would notice. But it would take proper numbers for somebody to be really upset about it. But I just think it's an interesting kind of way to look at it. Do you stay in and fight from within, or do you walk away from it and say, you know what, if that's how you're going to be, I'm out of here?
Okay, Jeff, I've been boycotting Walmart for 30 years because they started the whole thing of if we sell your product, you've got to do this.
Yep.
And eventually led to, if you don't sell a cheap product by going to China to make that product, you're not here. I've been Walmart, Chick-fil-A for their anti-LGBTQ plus, Hobby Lobby for the same reason. I no way. I've been boycotting them forever. Yeah, does that probably affect them? Somewhat. But you know what? I don't care. I absolutely don't care. I'm not going
It's about principle then, right?
I'm not going to use a business or a service or a social platform that is right-wing and supports fascism.
Yeah. Walmart actually has an entire division of its corporation that does nothing but help suppliers, vendors, move their operations to China. And then, oh, by the way, when they have to ship that product back to the U.S. to sell at Walmart, whose boats do they put it on? Walmart shipping containers. Sam Walton founded Walmart. I'm going to let you go, bud, because I think I'm going to, about 9:15 here, I think we're going to wrap.
Oh, okay, I'll talk to you another night.
You got it. Hey, take care of yourself. Sam Walton founded Walmart as a local department store for local people to shop in and for local vendors to sell their goods, whether it was home craft made furniture or farmers selling their produce, ranchers selling their meat, local seamstresses selling their clothing, and everything in between. In the small town of Bentonville, Arkansas, which is now a city because everybody works for Walmart, he founded Walmart as a local store for local people and local producers. And that concept has been bastardized to such a point that except for the produce, not much is local anymore. Yes, they do get produce from some local farmers. They also get most of their produce from big, huge agricultural conglomerates. So it is interesting. But again, I ask you, because we're going to wrap up here in a couple minutes. I'll make up the couple of minutes that I had to go work. But how do you do that? What's the best way to do that? I think Randall makes a very good point. We talked about boycotting things earlier. It's very easy to boycott things. I will not shop in this place. I will not buy from this place. I will not hire that tradesperson with the big Trump bumper sticker on his truck. That's a choice. It's a vote. It's a vote. It's an economic vote. But when it comes to a social media platform, what do? Do you stay and fight from the inside and get your word out and get your message out? Or do you walk away in a boycott type action? I'm not sure. I don't know what the synonym is for it, but you know what? How do you do that? Which way do you go? And I think the argument is very two-sided. I think you can make a really excellent argument for both sides. Boycott it. Walk away from it. The less users there are, the less you can charge for advertising, the less advertisers will go there. I think that makes perfect sense. But I can also understand President Biden is still on Twitter. Bernie Sanders is still on Twitter. So is Elizabeth Warren. So is the vice president. Right? So are the MSNBC night hosts. So is former Representative Joe Walsh, who's exceptionally busy on X. A guest on this program, whom I need to get back to closer to sometime in October. Hopefully I'll get him back if he'll be kind enough to come back and see us. But do you stay and you fight from within, or do you walk away from it and try and put a dent into it and get others to follow you? I just think it's a really interesting conversation. I think I can easily, well, I just did. I can justify both. I really can. I can justify both. I think Randall makes a great point. You can boycott it and walk away. And again, I think with certain businesses that's easier to do. I won't, Chick-fil-A will not buy your food. Walmart, I will not shop in your store because of what you either stand for or at least stand against. On a social media platform, I'm not sure it's the same thing. Rupert Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal. They still rarely, but occasionally, write articles critical of the Republican Party. But you can still write a letter to the editor You can fight from within. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg regularly goes on Fox and tells them to their faces while he's live, I come here to talk to the people that watch you because you'll never tell them what I have to say if I don't say it directly to them. And he's right. So you fight from within. But again, I think both points of view make a great case for both of them. You really can. You can make a great case for both. And that's a good thing, isn't it? Debate's a good thing. It's good for the country. George, anything you want to throw into the mix here?
Yeah, that's on. Okay.
Yeah, it is on. You turned it right off, but it's still.
Yeah. It's still on. Sorry. No. I didn't want to throw anything into the mix.
Well, then I think that's about all that we have for tonight. That wraps up a Tuesday on TKE tonight, the 13th of August. We have every intention, barring anything unforeseen, like more freaking work or late calls or whatever. We will be with you tomorrow, the 14th, from 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Take a break. Go walk the dog. Get a glass of milk. Get some cookies. Make some popcorn. Go watch Alex Wagner, whatever it is that you do in between. Catch up on the Phillies game. Whatever it is that you might do in between. Conversations with T. Nathan comes up at 11 p.m. Eastern Time right here on gcpr.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. Again, plug it into any search engine. You'll find it easy. It will come up. You will find it. gcpr.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio .live. Or plug in my name or George's or Sergeant Mac or GCPR, Ghost Claw Productions Radio. We will return tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Conversations with T. Nathan, 11 p.m. tonight. And the Sound of Coffee returns tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. For everyone at GCPR, from my partner Thomas McCormick, for George, I get to name you twice. I'm going to name you twice just because I goofed up my whole routine. So now I'm going to name you twice. For everybody at GC, Gilbert, Gambit, Gretchen, Ben, Brett, Robert Kosh, Pastor Best, and the new hosts that are coming. Stay tuned. The new hosts are coming. For everybody surrounding the Kennedy effect, George, told you I was going to name you twice. No extra pay for being named twice, but I'm going to name you twice. George and Lynn. For Kristen, Daisy the dog downstairs, I am Jeff Kennedy. We've done about all the damage we can do for one night. We will return tomorrow from 8 p.m. Thanks for being with us as always. Like, share, subscribe, and follow all across our social media. YouTube.com, that other side of information, is always the best place to catch up on anything that you may have missed. Until tomorrow, please take care of yourselves and each other. T. Nathan from 11. Sound of Coffee, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We return at 8 p.m. We'll see you then. Take care.